Hey guys, it's back.
Cassie found something here. It's the size of a nickel.
Buffalo nickel, give me the fufu juice.
Oh! I gotta keep digging some more here. Let's see what else we can get. I found myself a bucket lister. I got a crotal bell.
It's a Wheatie.
You found a Wheatie?
Yes.
Sweet. A Walking Liberty 1943 half dollar. Oh my god, it's freaking gorgeous. You got an Indian? Oh my god, Cassie got an IHP. Needless to say, I am a happy camper.
Well, hello, good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful, sunny, cold day in southwest Michigan. Love to be able to get out metal detecting, but we cannot because temperature actually has come up a little bit. It's a whopping 7 degrees right now. But let me show you what it looks like outside. Yeah, that's what it looks like outside right now. Still got Christmas decorations over there I haven't even taken down because they're still buried in snow. Probably all compressed, about 12 inches of snow, maybe a little bit more, but somewhere right around that area. So it makes metal detecting a wee bit difficult. You can't get through the snow, and if you could, the ground's frozen like a like a popsicle, except probably harder. So what do we as metal detectorists do when we can't get out and detect? Well, today I decided I would do a little I'll show you mine if you show me yours kind of video where I'm going to show what I use to metal detect, the gear I use, the metal detectors I use, and all that. This could be helpful for new metal detectorists getting into the hobby, so you got an idea of what you might, want to look for as far as gear. And for the rest of us that have been doing this for a while, it just gives us a chance to share because we love to see what each other uses and how our experiences go. So it's always fun to do stuff like that. I'll show you the detectors I've got. The metal detecting vest I use, the hand diggers and stuff like that, and let you know what my experience is with that stuff. And before we get into too much discussion about that, let me get you guys mounted up here, so go through a couple of things real quick. Alrighty, that might be a little bit better. Got my hands free and hopefully you guys aren't bouncing around so much. So one thing I'm not going to get into is what kind of metal detector is best or what brand is best or anything like that. I've used stuff and owned stuff from Garrett, Fisher, Nokta, and Minelab. They've all been excellent. Any mainstream metal detecting company out there that makes metal detector these days, as long as you stick to your, name brands, it's going to be good stuff. The type of equipment that's being put out these days is outstanding. It doesn't really matter as long as it's something that feels comfortable for you and that you can relate to. You like the feel of it, you like the way the sounds are and the settings and things. Go for it. The idea is just to get out there and have fun. Now, as you get up into the higher end detectors, there are some detectors that just seem to perform better, at least for certain types of things, than others. But as you gain experience as a metal detectorist, you'll kind of figure that out on your own anyway and gravitate toward the ones that work best for you. It just comes naturally with experience. My simplest metal detector I've got is a Fisher F22 that we call the Fish. It's not expensive. It's a little over 200 bucks, I think it was when I got it. I got it to have my kids have something to detect with when we were detecting back when, the only detector I had was Garrett AT Pro, my first metal detector. So they'd get out and use the Fish and have a great time, and I actually got to the point where I'd use it in some situations too, because the smaller head on it was able to pinpoint things in trashy areas a whole lot better. Even when I got my Equinox 800, there were times that I had situations where I would put that away even and go back to the fish, because in certain situations it was just a superior detector. This is said fish. This is the Fisher F22 that I use. Simple detector, battery operated, 2 AA batteries, no wireless anything, small concentric style coil head that really is good for pinpointing. The thing about the concentric head detectors is that cone of detection starts out big, and as it goes into the ground it gets smaller and smaller, so at depth the detection is very fine. It's pinpoint quality. So in those trashy areas where you've got fairly deep targets, it really does do a good job. Super lightweight. This thing, there's nothing to this. Cuffs are comfortable. Everything on it is really comfortable to use. Just uses a 1/4 inch headphone port, which I got an adapter for, so I could just use, inexpensive headphones like the ones I just knocked on the floor. Like these, nothing fancy. You can get these all over the place. I think these are Amazon Basics or something like that, and they've been doing good for 5 or 6 years now. They're great. My youngest daughter still prefers the fish. On the rare occasions she actually goes out anymore. Great machine though. I love it. If you're looking at getting a beginner metal detector, it's not a bad choice. Another one that might be a good one for a beginner or advanced is this baby right here. If you haven't heard of this, you probably are new to detecting. This is the Nokta Simplex. Nokta makes these. Outstanding machine. These run about $350, $300, something like that. I think about $350. And I think for the price, it's probably the most powerful metal detector on the market. To get something more powerful, you have to spend a couple $100 more at least before you start getting into the power that this has. It is really an incredibly powerful machine. It goes incredibly deep. The options that you have on it are outstanding. The weight balance is pretty good. The shaft on this thing, I love this. So easy to use. It's just outstanding. Really good design. Nokta makes good stuff though. Comes with wireless headphones. For that price point, wireless headphones, Bluetooth, low latency, can't beat it. They're outstanding. The one thing I do have to say about it is at that price point, you do sacrifice a little bit, I think, of finesse. When you get into the more expensive metal detectors, your audio, your discrimination and everything are a bit more precise and a bit more refined. And I think that's probably by design. Nokta made an incredible detector with this Simplex Plus. If they would have made it too refined, then people wouldn't be buying their high-end detectors. So, at some point you've got to limit the refinement on the less expensive ones, so that if you want to gain that extra bit of audio clarity or ability to control your settings a bit more, things like that, then you're going to have to jump up to that more expensive. And you've got things like the, I forget the name of the new Mac, I think it's just Nokta Macro. And they've got the like a Macro 2 or something like that out now. I'd love to check those out. I know Quarter Hoarder has one, Jason Bofuzzi. I hope I got that last name right, and I'd really like to try it out. Nokta makes other good stuff too. This is a Nokta Macro pinpointer. This is the, I forget the name of it, but I'm not impressed with it. This is the case that it comes with, and it doesn't like to even come out of the case that well. This is the Pulse Dive. You can actually replace the end on this. I think this end right here comes completely off, and you can get one that has like a little round, like a mini metal detector circular end for underwater stuff. This is completely underwater, and it wirelessly connects to the same headphones that you use for the Simplex, or I think the big boy macros as well, so that you can keep your headphones on and use your pinpointer with that. But I mean, this is, like I said, this is the pouch that comes with it, and this stupid lip right here gets caught going in and out. I don't like it. The buttons on this, just everything about this to me just feels wrong though. I don't like this pinpointer. You may, just does not work for me. I wanna naturally pick it up and hold it like this, and the buttons are off to the side. So it just, I don't like it. So this whole setup, my Simplex and pinpointer are for sale if you're in Southwest Michigan and want something for the spring, hit me up. I'd be willing to sell this, probably 300 bucks, you know, something like that. What I'd really like to do is get the big boy 15-inch coil to go with this. This is my Equinox 800 with a standard factory 8-inch or 11-inch coil. I do have a 6-inch Minelab coil to go with this. This is my go-to detector. It is, like people that use these will tell you, a beast. I started out with an AT Pro, loved that, sold it to a couple of kids that wanted to get into detecting and wanted a good detector to use. They still love it. Kind of missed that. My oldest daughter really liked that detector, and she related to it really well. I'd like to have she's going off to college next year, so it's not gonna really matter, but I'd really like to have tried the AT Max, the next generation that came after the AT Pro. But as good as the AT Pro was, the Equinox is that much better in my eyes. The first time I used this, I went to a place I'd already used the Garrett probably 10 times and found 5 silver coins in just a couple of hours. I could not believe myself. I'd never even found like 2 silver coins up until that point, and then I found 5 in one day with a brand new detector I barely knew anything about yet. And since then, I have found some amazing stuff with this. It does also come with wireless headphones, and I can tell you these things will take a beating. I have dropped these in the water, completely submerged them so that they stopped working at all. Took them apart so I could let them dry out for a couple of days. That was like 2 years ago. They're still working fine. I've used them so much that I'm starting to wear out the foam on them. I think you can get new foam for these though. I'll have to double check, but you know, I probably got a couple of more years of use out of these at least. It's waterproof, completely submersible. The only thing I just found out is if you do wash it, it has the holes in the shaft for your adjustment. Water will get down into this bottom shaft, and there's nothing for it to drain out down here. So when you turn it right side up and the water drains to these holes, it's going to fall out all over the place. So I had water on my floor and I didn't realize it. I did add this right here. This is the tape grip that you would get for a softball bat. Just to add a little bit of beef to this area here and just give me a better anti-slip grip. When you're out in muddy conditions, that really makes a big difference. It really helps. I mounted my Garrett pinpointer pouch right to the side here with a little bit of Velcro. So when I'm out, it helps add a little bit of balance, a little bit of weight back here. And I've always got my pinpointer with me, and I don't have to worry about having it down here pulling down on my hip because I got enough crap that I don't like that feeling. Great detector. If you are a beginner detector, you could get something like this and use those factory settings with it, and it would be fine. Even as an advanced detectorist, I don't use any super high special settings or anything. I stay pretty close to the factory settings on this. I have it in Park 2, 50 tones. I ground balance it, and I do the EMI thing every time I turn it on. And I think this has the iron and iron 2, the FE and FE2 settings, and I tend to go to FE2, drop it down to about 5-ish if for normal times, maybe even a little bit lower. If there's low iron, if I'm not detecting any iron, I'll drop that way on down there to like 0 even. And then if I have issues, I'll start bumping it back up until I start isolating out some of that falsing that I might get for the ground conditions. My recovery speed, I run usually about 5 or so. Oops, kicked a bucket of cans. And that's really mostly all the things that I change on this. Everything else I leave fairly close to the way that it is, because Minelab put a lot of work into getting this thing to the point where it's those factory settings are really good, and I haven't had the need to change away from them, and this thing will go super deep in those settings. I already had to get a new shovel to dig a plug big enough to go as deep as this thing will go, because with a smaller shovel I was ripping the ground up, because I could only dig like 6 foot deep, and I'm literally finding 9, 10, 12 inch targets with this thing sometimes. So I want the ability to dig a bigger plug to get down that deep, so I can put that plug back and not have it look like I've destroyed the area in the process. So incredibly powerful. Love this machine. It's my go-to machine, and I absolutely would not part with it. What I do, like I said, want to do is try that 15-inch coil. I'd love to go back over some of the areas that I'm in that I know have older stuff that might be deeper, and see if I can root out that extra 1.5 inches or so, or 2 inch of depth from that bigger coil. So that's why I'm thinking of selling my macro. I really don't use my macro, even though I do like the machine. Pinpointer. This I got early on. Like I said, I don't like the macro. This is the Garrett Carrot. Obviously, it's called that for a reason. It's orange and it looks like a carrot. This is a tank. You can run over this, you can throw it around, you can submerge it, you can do whatever you want to with it. You will not destroy it. Trust me, because I've done all of that many times. It is old enough. I try not to use it as a digging tool, but I'm beginning to get a little bit of a spot develop right there. So I might try to get some of that rubberized coating that you put on, like the rubber dip, to try to help seal that so I don't get water in there. I did have a second one of these. My daughter lost it on accident at a school, and by the time I went back there, the kids had already found it, and I'll never get that thing back. And I did have an inexpensive GP pointer that I got for a present one time. When I sold my Garrett, the part of the package deal was they wanted a pinpointer to use with it, so I let that one go. I didn't want to because it was a gift, but you know, these kids were getting into the hobby, and I wanted to help support them. Love this. There are, like the GP pointer out there, you can get less expensive pinpointers. But if you're going to want something that you can keep practically forever, the $130, $135 that you'll pay for this is totally worth it. Even if you get the macro, and this is like a third the cost of the macro, the Simplex, it's worth every penny to have a good pinpointer that's going to be there for you, last, be durable, all that. It's worth every penny. So there's that. There's a lot of metal detectors on the market these days I haven't tried. I'd love to try. So if you guys are in the Southwest Michigan area and have any of the new stuff and want to, swap for a day, go out detecting together, I'd love that. I love trying the new detectors. Minelab has the Vanquish series. I'd love to try one of those. I thought of getting one of those when I got the Simplex, but I wanted to try something different, so I got the Simplex instead. The new Nokta Macro, I would love to try that, see how it is. The E-Track, I haven't tried the original E-Track, and the E-Track 2 just came out. It's supposed to be even better, and the first one was awesome. I'd love to try either one, but especially that new E-Track 2 and a AT Max. I still haven't got my hands on one of those, and I know there's a lot of those out there, so I'd trade machines for a couple of hours if you want, and we'll swing away with each other's machines and see what we can find. You know, give us a chance to get used to it, see whether we like them or not. So, let's move on to metal detecting gear. My vest, you'll see a lot of people that use a metal detecting vest. This is the one that I have here. It is a very simple vest. It is a fishing vest that you would use for like fly fishing. It has a couple of pouches in the back, which I rarely use, but I could if I wanted to. Has pouches on the front all over the place. Here, let me just put it on real quick. Easy to get on and off. It's super lightweight, and since it has the holes in it, even in the summer it doesn't get hot. You've got the thing here that you can keep it together so that you've got the opening here during the summer, or you have a zipper so you can actually zip it up, which I almost never use, but it is here. Anyway, it's there. I've got this pouch right here. I keep my little finds box in. And what I like about this is it puts all the weight on your shoulders and keeps it off of your belt. I hate weight on my belt because, you know, dad bod, you know, it happens to all of us. I've got pouches where I keep like a little mini toothbrush for cutting, you know, cleaning my finds. One very important thing here. Oh, I've got extra glasses if I need them. I can actually use this big pouch right here for some of my finds. For all the finds that I want to keep, I use a little pouch here. And that way I've got my trash thing on my hip and I can use my trash. I carry mosquito spray, which is extremely important around here. I've got my little mini flashlight, always super handy to have. I've got extra batteries. Oh, one of the most important things of all, my foo-foo juice, although the official one from the Hoover Boys, the little pump spray stopped working, so I had to get my own. So I gotta order another one of those. I've got toothpicks in here somewhere. Yep, I got me a little foil pouch with toothpicks to clean stuff off. So, and I've got, that leaves a lot of pouches I'm not even using. You know, if I want extra batteries, I could carry extra batteries with me. So I've got an extra battery for my pinpointer, if that goes bad. Which I went out last year or the year before, I can't remember. Pinpointer battery died and I had to stop detecting and go find a store and get a pinpointer, or a battery for my pinpointer. These you can get for 30 bucks or so at a sporting goods store. Really, really, really super handy to have. Highly suggest you get one. This makes your whole experience detecting a lot better, especially if you're going to be serious about it. So, I know we've gotten long here, but let me clear off the table and go get the rest of the stuff. The hand diggers, the trash pouch, and my shovels. And we'll try to wrap this up for you in just a few minutes here. Alrighty, for this part, we turned you around and I got stuff laid out on the table here. First, the shovels that I use, the smaller shovel if I'm up in somebody's yard, starting out especially, I use this smaller shovel. This is a Lesh, I forget the exact model, but you'll see a lot of metal detectorists use these. It has a smaller head, it looks a lot less intimidating when you roll up into someone's yard. But because your shovel head size here is limited, it does let you dig small, compact, clean holes, so there is that. When you're out metal detecting, you want to leave as little evidence that you were there as possible, and digging a clean plug really is going to help you in that endeavor. Otherwise, you will not be invited back, and word will get out, and you may have a hard time getting into other places, and that's going to affect other detectorists. The Lesh one, all steel, welded construction, heavy welds here. You're not going to bend this. You could drive your car up on this. It's not going to harm it at all. I used this for a long time. You can see because it's quite worn there. It was a lot more pointed, more like that. And then I moved up to this because I got the Equinox, and the Equinox goes so much deeper, I had to dig deeper holes. Notice this isn't wide. This face of this still is pretty narrow, so you can dig a fairly small, narrow plug. Just gives you the ability to go a whole lot deeper with it. And with the serrated edge on both sides, it helps you get a lot deeper. I did opt to get this with the foot pads, and I really think that I made a good choice because with wet or mud, this keeps your foot from slipping off. That is a Predator Piranha series. You can go to predator.com and get that. American made tool, and again, you're not going to break that. I mean, you drive your SUV up on top of that thing and it's not going anywhere. It is a beast. I think these are running about 80 bucks or so, something like that. That was a lot more with the foot pads. I think the foot pads were 15 bucks each. And I think that raised this up to somewhere close to 145 bucks or something, if I want to remember right. But I tell you what, it is an investment. It's a heck of an investment. That's a lot of dang money, but it is well worth it. You will never destroy it. That's my 6-inch coil for the Equinox. Takes some getting used to compared to the 11-inch, but once I do, the separation, target separation on that is really good, and it still goes really deep. Hand diggers. Started out with the Garrett one right here because it came with my package deal for my AT Pro. I would never buy another one of these. I bought a Calico version of one of these. Same thing happened to it, but if you look at that waviness right there, what happens is if you get something where you, like a dirt or rock, and you have to put any kind of pressure on this to bend it or try to pry something out, this has almost no bend in it like this one does. So it really just bends right there and it'll fold back. Once it does that, that metal is weakened and it'll never be the same again. I mean, you can hardly dig a plug in anything other than soft dirt without this bending. It's complete garbage. Don't ever get one. Just don't. Get yourself a Lesh that if you like this knife design, it's going to be a whole lot better. You're going to pay for it, but it's going to be a whole lot better. I ended up going with this, which was only like 18 bucks, 15 bucks, something like that, really cheap. Very lightweight, and I love the design. This goes through things and digs every bit as easy as this with the serrated edges. I didn't miss them at all. The red handle is easy to see, has a lanyard attachment and all that. Really, really nice, easy way to get a great hand tool or hand digger without spending a fortune. Or what I've gotten to where I use lately is this. This was given to me to review, and I love it. This is cheap too, like 15 bucks or something. Has the paracord wrap. Super lightweight. Has that bend in it, so it's really durable. Don't know what I'd use it for, but it has a little wrench. Those are for nuts built in. It has a thing for either pulling nails or for hanging it right there. Of course, it's got a knife edge on one side and a serrated edge on the other. This will cut through roots like they weren't there. It's not super long, but holy cow, it's super lightweight. That's my clock, sorry. And I just stick it right in my pouch. My junk pouch. I just carry this on my side. This is my original Garrett pouch. I put this pointed thing in, oops, just like this. So that pointed end is sticking there all the time as I'm bouncing around and running around. And if you look at this, no breaks, no cuts, nothing. It's still in perfect condition after, good grief, I've been detecting 8 to 10 years now, something like that. And this same Garrett pouch is in perfect shape. I throw it in the washing machine every once in a while. Zippers still work, everything still works on it. If you do want a good finds pouch, something simple,
and easy to carry. These are like 15 bucks or 20 bucks or something like that. And they'll last you practically a lifetime. They do have loops here so that you could hook stuff onto them, but I just don't. Like I said, I don't like a lot of weight around my waist. Seriously good pouch though. Other little things other than mosquito spray, these little bug bands, I tried those this year. They actually work pretty good. Somebody gave some of these to Quarter Hoarder, and I thought, well, you know, he said they actually worked pretty good, so I decided to try some when I saw them at the store one time. I'll be dang if they aren't pretty good. So, some of those, they're like a buck a piece, so really easy. Sweatbands. Sweatbands are nice. Or, like these are do-rags is what I call them. Because I'm getting a little bald up on top, a little thinner than I used to be. Or a cap, if you wear caps. I'm not a big cap person, so I like these instead. On those summer days, this will help keep the sweat out of your eyes. It really makes things easier. And last but not least, that I can think of anyway, I'll probably have missed something here. Good set of gloves. And we have a Menards hardware store here. I usually just buy these in bulk there. I'll go buy, you know, you can find these sometimes for $2, $3, $4 per pair. I'll go buy, you know, 2, 3, 4 pair of them. You know, I don't even spend $10 doing it most of the time. Eventually you will wear holes, and you can see this one starting to develop a hole like right there in the finger. Because as you're digging stuff up, you can really claw with this so it won't get into your nails and stuff or hurt your fingers. Especially if you hit glass or ceramic pieces like broken pottery pieces or something. Really important to have gloves for that. Or even, you know, some metal pieces like flashing aluminum and stuff like that have sharp edges. It'll cut you, so it's really important to have gloves to keep that from happening. It doesn't have to be super expensive. These gloves like this, you know, I'll get a couple, 3 seasons out of these, and I'll throw them away and go on to the next pair that I only spent like $4 or $5 on at most. So it's super well worth it. And I like the brighter colors because if I throw them down on the ground somewhere and forget and run off, it's easier to find them. Anything with a bright color is going to be good for me because I'm prone to just walking away from stuff. So anything that'll help me find things is really good. So there you have it, guys. Sorry, I know this got a little bit long. It's more like I guess less of a show me mine, I'll show you yours, and more like a fireside chat, except no fire. But you know, it is what it is. That's, you know, sometimes if we were all sitting around talking with each other around the table, we'd be doing the same thing. You know we would. So, kind of pretend we're all here together then and waiting for the snow to leave so we can get out and detect. Until then, speaking of detecting, if you've been able to get out, tell me what you're finding. If you've got other gear that you use that you like, or you've tried some of the stuff that I have and you have good experiences with it, or bad, let me know. The more we share information with each other, the better we are as a metal detecting community. So I'm always up for sharing information or helping anybody out. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. It just makes me want to go detecting all that much more. So, and I don't have vacation time where I can go down to like Florida or something where it's warm. So I will see you guys later, and happy hunting to everybody and good luck.